Hello, I'm Claudia Kay, and welcome back to my channel. So, if you missed part 1 and part 2, this is part 3, and I am finally getting around to filling my jars. I have been collecting this stuff, actively collecting for the last 2 years. I've had the jars. I know I've had them at least since last year. Maybe longer. I don't know. Like, I know the matches in here I bought 2 years ago. Now, some of the stuff in the second jar that we did in part 2 is actually from my childhood. Like that right there, those are my childhood jacks in the jacks case. So some of these things are from my childhood. Some I was gifted recently. Like there's tiny Lincoln Logs in there that I was gifted recently. So part 3, I think we're going to see how many of these keys will fill up a thing. I know I don't have enough keys to fill up a thing, but to fill up a whole oop, I lost the lid on that one. This is one of the littler ones. But I've had a good portion of these keys since I was a teenager. So I think some of these were my grandfather's. He died when I was in 8th grade. Like this. Back in the 80s, I had, this was my keys. And I had a whole red and black luggage set. So that was mine. So none of these keys have I like collected at garage sales. These are all like ones that came from my family over time. Proudly serving the community Ashland Police Division. My sister worked for the Ashland Police. So I'm gonna say these car keys were hers. An extra set. We always like to give my dad an extra set of car keys so that if we lock our keys in our car in the middle of winter, we can make him go out in the 30-degree weather and rescue us. Not speaking from experience. Oh, keychain of my daughter. My sweet little Myrtle Beach keychain with Myrtle Beach sand in it. Myrtle Beach sand. Okay, so, oh my goodness, you guys, look. It's a Bubble Yum keychain. That was mine from the 80s. Oh, fantastic. It's fantastic. Okay, so I think we are going to want to just put the keys in and then maybe put some of the fun keychains stuck so that you can see them from the outside, maybe. This one's empty? What's in there? No pictures in that one. Now these 2 keys have to come off of this because I noticed that it is molding. Gross. Oh, man. No wonder they're not off of there. That's going to be difficult to get off. That may have to wait. Oh my goodness. Do you guys remember when you pulled the pop tops off with the... Do you remember what that means? And look, this pin, this was one of my diaper pins. And this is a diary key. And I'm not sure, that looks like one of the tiny padlocks. Oh my goodness, so much fun. There's an old GM key. That is tore up. Ace Hardware. Another GM. So a lot of these were my grandpa's, like I said. Some of them were our old house keys. So I think one of these would have been an old house key. There's another padlock key. These are more little diary keys. I don't have the little diaries anymore. And as any good sister knows, you just stick a pin and pop those open anyway. You don't actually need the key. Lots of GM keys. So I'm gonna guess that my grandpa was a fan of GM, General Motors. There's just a whole bunch of random keys. That's definitely a car key right there. That was a Ford. Fitz Ford Cars. Oh, fun, fun, fun. Oh, there's more Ford. Another Ford car key. And if you see a key in here that's worth a lot of money, I don't care. They're my grandpa's, so I'm keeping them. These are those Chevys? I don't know. These are definitely going to hardly fill this one up, so you guys will have to tell me what else I should put in this one. Here's a Children's Place keychain. I worked there for 5 years as a manager. These are some weird keys. That's when I graduated. We got keychains. Woohoo! There's a fat key. No, you do not need to walk over here. Well, thanks for obeying me. Oh, there is a, look, a tiny padlock. We're just going to put it right in there because the keys are in there. What kind of key is that? Sorry, that was the cat. I know that's a car key. Crazy to think that a lot of cars now don't even need a key. Huh. There's a guitar pick in there. Don't know why. We're not going to separate it. CW. I wonder if my brother made that for me. Those are my initials. Well, they were before I got married. We're going to put that in there. And there's more of the tiny diary. How many tiny diaries did I have? I mean, really. And I wonder if that was our old house key. Don't know. And I don't think any of these are, any of these keys are like recent. Even though we always, every time I moved into a new place, I went and had keys made for the kids. Because yes, my kids were latchkey kids. They had to get off the bus while I was at work. So they always had their own key in the hopes that somebody out of the three of them would have their key when they got back to the house. When they were that age that they were old enough to be getting off the bus by themselves, we lived in a duplex, and my elderly retired neighbor was awesome. So he also had a key, and he would let them in if they forgot their keys, or more than likely they'd just be hanging out in the yard with them and he'd be teaching them things. But anyway, I always had extra keys made, and I let them pick out, you know, you can go to Walmart and pick out the key, as long as it fits the shape of the key you're trying to make. And so I always let them pick out their key, so it felt special. Every time we had to move, they got a new fun key. Well, I never turned those keys back into the landlord every time I moved, because who was going to be able to find those keys in the mess of moving? Like, you know, my kids had already moved on from that, and who knew where their keys were? But I don't know where any of those keys ever went. They're not in here. They're not in the key collection. Okay, we've emptied another box, and This box that these keys have been in since I was a teenager is actually a Hallmark Christmas box. That's what Hallmark used to put their Christmas cards in. Oh, that's great. From the 80s. Hallmark box. So here's how full, oh, we gotta throw that one away. Here's how full we got this one. Ooh, this one's heavy. So, I don't know. I don't know if I have more keys somewhere. I don't know if I should pick up keys. I mean, these keys are special because they're my family's keys, you know? Do I just want to fill a container with keys that aren't special? I mean, I filled a whole matchbook thing with matchbooks that weren't special. I don't know. What else do I have in here? Oh, I have another keychain that needs to go in there. That was my youngest when he was born. And if you guys have ever wondered, this is my ex-husband. Right before we got married. That's my ex-husband. And that's where my youngest son, or my oldest son, gets his good looks, because he's the spitting image of his father. Okay, so that can go in there. See, other things I have, like, this was the inside of a music box. This was inside my Paddington Bear. And I think at some point, one of the various pets we had chewed it up. I'd had it years and years and years. But you can see right on it, it says Japan. Well, it says Japan. I know it's hard to see. I think that's what that came out of. And I still have the vintage stuff that was my grandmother's. I also have this one too. This one plays Laura's theme. That was my grandmother's. And then I've got my grandpa's wallet. So I definitely think I'm going to make a grandparents one, maybe. Or maybe I'll have to do, I don't know. Okay, so that was part 3. Here's where we're at so far. We did the matchbooks. We did, the toys. And we did keys, but you can't really tell that it's keys in there. Keys and keychains. I don't know. Okay, let me know what you think, you guys. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out, and I appreciate it. Okay, remember, be kind. Doesn't cost you anything. It may mean everything to someone else. I'll see you in the next one.